Welcome to your daily stock market summary from MarketSnap. Hey everyone, I'm thrilled to be back with you to break down the latest action in the markets. We've got a packed day with mixed signals across the board, some standout movers, and big picture trends that every long-term investor needs to keep an eye on. So, grab a coffee and let's dive into what's shaping the financial landscape today. First up, let's talk about how the major indexes performed. It's been a bit of a roller coaster out there. The Nasdaq managed to edge up with a modest gain, showing strength in tech despite broader uncertainty. Meanwhile, the Dow took a hit, sliding into the red with a noticeable drop, reflecting some pressure on industrial and financial heavyweights. The S&P 500 held steady, barely budging, which tells us the market is wrestling with competing forces right now. And the Russell 2000, representing small caps, saw a significant pullback, though they've been on a tear recently. Volatility is definitely in the air, folks, with the VIX ticking up a bit, signaling some investor nerves. Now let's zoom in on some of the big winners of the day. Among large caps, we saw some impressive moves in the materials and energy sectors. Companies like BHP Group and Southern Copper led the charge with solid gains, riding a wave of optimism around commodity prices. Tech wasn't left behind either, with Fortinet jumping nicely, likely on renewed interest in cybersecurity. These moves are a reminder that even in choppy markets, there are pockets of strength, especially for long-term investors looking at sectors with durable demand like resources and tech security. On the flip side, not everyone had a great day. Some major names took a beating, with Intel leading the losers after a brutal post-earnings sell-off. Supply constraints and weak guidance rattled investors, and it's a stark reminder of how quickly sentiment can shift, even for big players. Other notable decliners included Caterpillar and Goldman Sachs, reflecting broader concerns in industrials and financials. For us long-term folks, these dips can be opportunities, but it's worth watching if these are just short-term stumbles or signs of deeper issues. Speaking of big names, let's check out the market movers, the stocks driving the most action. Nvidia continues to be a focal point, posting a slight gain amid heavy trading volume as the AI narrative keeps investors hooked. Microsoft also saw strong movement with a nice uptick, reinforcing its role as a steady hand in tech. On the other end, Intel's massive drop made it one of the most active stocks, showing how earnings can swing sentiment overnight. Tesla held relatively flat, but it's still a name to watch with upcoming earnings. These movers highlight where the market's attention is right now, and for long-term investors, they're a pulse on where innovation and growth are brewing. Diving deeper into volume, the most actively traded stocks paint a similar picture. Nvidia again tops the list, with traders piling in on every move. Intel's high volume reflects the panic selling after its report, while smaller names like Immunity Bio and Open Door Technologies saw significant activity, hinting at retail interest in speculative plays. High volume often signals where emotions are running hot, so for us long-term investors, it's a cue to step back and assess the fundamentals over the noise. Now let's touch on the broader economic backdrop shaping today's market. Inflation remains a persistent concern, with reports reminding us it's still above the Fed's target, acting like an economic thief, sapping purchasing power. The Fed's upcoming rate decision is in focus, with markets hungry for any hint of relief, though some experts suggest the rate-cutting cycle might slow sooner than expected. Geopolitical noise, especially around Trump's Greenland moves, briefly spooked markets before a reversal eased tensions. Plus, consumer sentiment ticked up slightly in January, though worries about prices and jobs linger. For long-term investors, this mix of inflation and policy uncertainty means staying diversified and keeping an eye on how macro trends impact your portfolio over the next few years. Shifting gears to earnings, it's a pivotal week with some heavy hitters reporting. We've got names like Tesla, Visa, and Microsoft on deck, which could set the tone for their respective sectors. Tesla's results are especially anticipated, with its energy storage unit showing promise amid record deployments. Intuitive Surgical already reported beating expectations with strong system placements, though margins took a hit. CSX, on the other hand, disappointed with flat results, signaling some softness in transport. For long-term investors, Earnings season is a goldmine of insight. Look past the quarterly noise to see how these companies are positioning for the next decade.
Get exclusive AI summaries of every earnings call. No more reading hours of transcripts. Access revenue segmentation, 5-year analyst estimates, SWOT analyses, and full financial statements. Plus track upcoming earnings, dividends, and market events with MarketSnap's calendar app. Create a free account at MarketSnap.com.
Looking at the past week's performance, some large caps have been on fire. Expand Energy stole the show with a staggering gain, reflecting massive momentum in energy. Micron Technology also posted double-digit growth, fueled by AI chip demand. These weekly movers can signal emerging trends, and for long-term investors, they're worth watching to see if the strength holds or if it's just a short-term spike. On the weekly losers side, AppLovin and Shopify took significant hits, with double-digit declines signaling profit-taking or sector rotation out of high-growth tech. These pullbacks might be painful in the short term, but for us long-term players, they could present buying opportunities if the underlying businesses remain solid. Let's wrap up with a quick look at sector performance over the past week. Basic materials led the pack with a strong showing, likely tied to rising commodity prices and global demand. Energy and healthcare also outperformed, showing resilience amid market choppiness. These sector trends are critical for long-term portfolio allocation. Think about overweighting areas with structural tailwinds while keeping a balanced approach. On the weaker side, real estate lagged, likely pressured by interest rate uncertainty, while consumer defensive stocks barely moved, reflecting a lack of excitement in safer plays. Even in a bull market, not every sector shines, and for long-term investors, it's a reminder to stay selective and not chase every rally. Tying it all together, today's mixed market action reflects a tug-of-war between optimism in tech and commodities and caution around inflation, policy, and geopolitical risks. For long-term investors like us, the strategy remains clear. Focus on quality companies with strong fundamentals, diversify across sectors, and use short-term volatility as a chance to build positions for the future. Whether it's capitalizing on dips in names like Intel or riding momentum in materials, the key is patience and perspective.
MarketSnap brings everything long-term investors use daily into one clean, fast platform. Explore stock financials, SWOT analysis, valuation ratios, 5-year analyst estimates, and our intrinsic value calculator, built with real fundamentals, not hype. All in a layout that's simple to read and ridiculously fast to navigate. And when you want to talk investing, join Nexus, our community where investors share valuations, posts, and stock discussions, all connected directly to the data. Use our stock's intrinsic value calculator to run and save real valuations with no spreadsheets. Share your analysis and valuations with others in the Nexus community. Get daily market summaries in video, audio, and article formats. Track the market with our earnings, dividend, and economics calendar. Our homepage gives you a real-time market overview with interactive heat maps, top market movers, and major index performance at a glance. Track daily performances, discover the most active stocks, and analyze performance across different timeframes, from weekly to yearly trends, and see which industries are leading or lagging. It's free to create an account, with optional access to premium forward-looking data. Try it now at MarketSnap.com and invest with clarity, not noise. That's a wrap for today's stock market summary from MarketSnap. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to stick with us for daily updates and deep dive SWOT analyses to keep your investment strategy sharp. Whether you're navigating short-term turbulence or building wealth for the long haul, we've got the insights to help. See you tomorrow.